Okay guys, we're going to show Jesse how to lay a track. He's going to have to start laying tracks for Ace for me. That way I don't know where the track is, and it's a blind, what they call a blind track. The handler doesn't know where the dog's going or where the track went, so it's putting more emphasis on the team, you know, the handler and the ding. I always say your dog is only as good as your handler. A handler messes a dog up so much more than the dog actually messes up. So it's really important for you as a handler to be able to read your dog and know what your dog's what they're actually, be able to read your dog, basically it. You know whether its nose is on the track or it's off the track, it's lost the track, whether to pull him back and start over or what have you. So I'm going to show Jesse how to run the track. So he's going to probably have a lot of questions, which is good. Y'all be able to understand, where you're coming from and what you need to do on these tracks. So I'm starting a hit site right here. I'm going to come back and I'm going to lay a bunch of hair in this hit site with the gator later on. I always like to start my hit site and end my track to where I can drive up with a gator and drop off a hide or a deer leg as a treat to the dogs. The dogs need to find something to end of that track, whether it's a hide they can chew on or a deer leg that's got a lot of meat on it they can chew on. My dogs are food driven on the end of that track, so that's what I like to do. We're also training Callie. So Callie is the best blood tracker we got, so watch her. She's an expert. So all right.
Okay, Jesse, so what you're going to do is you're going to run on a UBT2, which is what Ace is going to be running next end of the month for the UBT tracking seminar we're going to have. He needs to have at least three 90-degree turns and a couple wound beds. We're not going to worry about the wound beds. We're going to just make it probably harder than 3 90-degree turns. So just go through, make some turns, cross some creeks, give him a good challenge. And if you have any questions as you're asking or as you're laying this, ask, because that way everybody knows.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll start the hit site, right? And I kind of saw you do it. You just kind of stomp around a little bit, right?
Yep. And we're going to
rub their scent.
We're going to bring a hide back here and rub it all over the ground and lay some hair in it and all that good stuff.
Perfect. And I'll just start. Does it matter how far I spread them out? Just kind of replicate a deer?
Just, yeah.
Okay. Does it matter how hard I press the hooves into the ground?
No, what you want is you're leaving it, those glands in between those feet. So you're leaving that scent is when you press that down and spread those hooves out. So it doesn't matter how hard, it's just, just as long as you're leaving that tarsal gland is hitting the ground.
Okay, perfect.
Not a tarsal gland, but you know what I'm talking about. Watch that cat. Man, is she not amazing? She is right on that track.
This one, I'm going to count as a 90, and then I'm going to go kind of straight over the creek into the woods there, and then I guess I'll try to come back around at some point. And where do you want me to finish?
I would just finish somewhere close to a road, either if you're going that way or that way we can drop that hide right on the end of that track.
Okay, perfect. I'll finish up here. Up at the top.
And one thing about being a new, training your dogs, a 90 off of a gravel road is really, really hard, because they want to blow through those roads and keep going. So this is good for Ace. I want you to do that. But just remember that if you're training your dog, you got a young dog, this is really hard for them to make this 90 on this road. So I'm ready.
All right, I'm gonna make my way towards the creek.
Going from woods to fields, or fields to woods, gravel, hard surfaces, all of that is a challenge for a dog. The different surfaces is a big challenge. So keep that in mind.
The other question I had too is, I know this might be kind of a silly question, but does it matter? Do I try to do I try to avoid the track with my boots? Does that matter?
I don't know. That's a good question. I just try to keep them wider than me, so I'm not putting my boot track on it. But a deer's not going to be lightweight, so basically the dog is tracking 1 foot that way. But there's a lot of people that disagree with this because they think, well, the dog's tracking you. I really don't care. The dog's tracking. So you know, they know when it's a live deer, when it's a live blood trail, they know, but they're getting the experience of tracking right now. Whether they're tracking you, they're tracking the deer, it doesn't really matter to me.
Okay. I'm gonna cross the creek here, hopefully without wiping out.
So there's another obstacle. That creek and that ditch and that gravel that you're coming up on is going to be an obstacle for the dog.
Okay, I'm gonna come right through here.
Yeah, basically another 90.
Yep. Yeah, you can do a few 90s.
And then another 90 on top of it.
I wanted to end up across the creek over on this side, but it's a long ways. So I'm gonna head up here. I'm not quite as good a shape as Ace is, so I'm gonna head up here to this field, and we're gonna just drive the outskirts of the field to drop something off there for the finish.
And actually on this track it needs to be 800 yards long.
Okay, so I don't know. We've probably gone only, what?
7,500.
It feels like a lot further.
Maybe you should go that way.
Okay, so I'll go back around and I'll loop and I'll go across the creek, down this ridge, across the creek, and then end up on the high side. So
could you have picked anything less thick or a little less?
I know. Yeah, as you can see, we are in full spring and it is growing up pretty good. So this is gonna be a tough track for him, but it'll be good practice.
Come on, dude. Really make it tough on him. A 90 on top of a creek bed, that's tough. Yeah. Okay, another thing that you got to remember, Jesse, is you're going across a glade right now. It's just a glade is just a rock basin in the woods that doesn't have much soil. It's just, that is really, really hard for a dog to track on. So if your dog loses, I'm out of breath too. I think it's more than 800 yards myself. If the dog loses a track in a real rocky area, you know, it's just hard to track there. So
do I have to, should I like mark it better or
Nope.
anything? Just do the same, just like a walk-in?
Just like a deer.
Okay, all right, I'm gonna keep going up this hill and I'll walk a little bit further down the road.
Yep.
And then...
Was I supposed, is the red light supposed to be on? Because I turned it on when I started videoing.
I had it on.
So it's not on now? I'm just messing with you, keep going.
I was like, oh boy, I gotta do a 2-mile track again. 800 yards, yeah.
Okay, here's you another obstacle. You're fixing to go through cut grass on top of a road back into tall grass.
Okay.
So you gotta, that's really hard on the dog, which is good. Go ahead and go and we'll just make it right over there.
Okay, I'm not a judge, but this is a tough track, and if Ace gets this, I think I'll certify him.
There you go. Just lay those right there and we'll, all right, so we're gonna lay our sticks right there. Okay. So we know where the end of the track is. And what we'll do is we'll go get the hide right before we run the dogs on the track. We'll come get the hide, drop it off right there. That way the ants and stuff don't get on it, and we'll have a finished track.
Perfect. And it's starting to rain, so
yeah, that'll give him a little bit more.
So I'm just gonna lay those right there.
That'll work.
All right, perfect.
Good job. Thank you very much.
I'm out of breath, but I think that was 800 yards.
Okay.
Okay, guys. We're gonna run this track of Ace. We laid this track about 24 hours ago. It came a really big rain that afternoon, and me and Nick had to run and do some stuff to get it, but so it's a little bit longer than I wanted, and it's a hard track. So we're gonna see how he does, and we're gonna let Huntley go along behind us, see how she does. So let's ease down to the hit site. Man, we're asking a lot of Ace with the distraction. Hey, dig him up, dig him up. He did a lot better than I thought he would. He did a really good job. He got off the track a couple of times, and I helped him a little bit. There was a couple of rocky areas that I think I probably held him back more. If I hadn't known where the track was, I'd have probably just let him go on and go through. But there was a couple of times that he was on the track that I didn't think he was on the track too. So he did really well. Like I said, it was a 24-hour track, and I don't know how much rain we got last night. A bunch. So everything's wet, everybody's wet. So we'll go run some tracks with Huntley and show you what we do on a young pup.